What is up? I am back. Attempting to finish this honeybee on the Mad Hatter piece. Just looking up a real quick reference photo. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Alright. Let's grab my liner brush here. And we'll get started finishing up this piece. I'm zoomed in on the picture right now. Here, if I zoom out, this is the whole piece we're working on. So we got the whole Mad Hatter going on here. A bunch of honey dripping down. A little honey for his tea. Perhaps he wants some oil. Never know. All right, so I am going to finish up the bee. We're going to hop over to the teacup, drop the Cheshire Cat in, and then a few little details. And drop that music down a little bit. All the music you're hearing too tonight is various recordings by a musician that I work with, Riken Funk, Llama A, Sugar, Cache, really cool collective of musicians. And some of the tunes that are going to be coming up are the tracks that are on my time lapses. So if you check out the info page, I've got links on my feed, all the time lapses that are up on YouTube as well. I know they're kind of fuzzy on their back ends, but I think I'm gonna stylize the honeybees butt. We're gonna make it look a little more like kind of plates made out of maybe leather. Alternate from black and yellow too. Bring this one up a little more. So yeah, this is all my buddy's music. A little dancey. I myself grew up an old rivet head, more into like the industrial scene, but this is definitely badass music for painting. And anyone watching, if you're an artist, feel free to link your site. I am totally down to check out new artwork. And actually, maybe we'll do. Let's throw on a stripe. Draw some lines all the way across. Still gives it that alternating kind of yellow-black look, but adds a lot more texture. Sorry if I'm wiggling the table here a little bit. Sometimes that'll throw the camera out of focus. Okay. Alright. I think we're good on that. A few more hairs. Let me zoom back in. So you can see the actual line work a little better. Yeah, this track's from a time lapse I did. Billy Martinez and the Birth of Paper, custom hand painted rolling tray. Which this piece will actually be a part of a series of products for smoke shops that are coming out as we speak. My first run of products is being produced. So, as an artist, I'm starting to try and get into, I just signed a manufacturing and a couple distribution deals. So, obviously the idea is to, you know, put out great art, but definitely make a living at it. And as we all start out doing paintings and then jump into doing reproductions and whatnot. And a lot of artists do try and license their artwork out to various, you know, companies that manufacture products and whatnot, but a lot of times the licensing deal is just complete shit, and it doesn't really offer the artist a sustainable living. So I'm very much in favor of cutting out the middlemen. So, and I do have a passion for business, so I like to kind of search out my own ways of doing things, and I just happened to meet a guy who has access to all the manufacturing I would ever need. So I'm just kind of learning that whole process right now and working through it to make sure it's a lot, you know, a lot goes into it as far as not only having to come up with the artwork for it, but as well packaging design and putting together like a series of art, kind of picking out which products you think are going to do well, which is always kind of a shot in the dark. So, but you know, researching trends and of course, you know, you just want to put out some stuff. Sometimes you just put out something because you like it, and whether you sell 10 or a million, really doesn't matter. Once you have it actually in your hot little hands, it's always super cool. We'll bring some stray hairs down here. Maybe he's got a hairy butt. Excuse me. So we're going to go through, we'll put the wings in. I kind of put the veins in on the wings and kind of like leaving little gaps in between the lines and fade them out, since it is like clear and kind of paper thin, so the light sometimes reflects and kind of covers up certain sections or highlights others. So you just want to give indications that there's some lines going through the wings, at the same time maintaining a transparency as well. There we go. And I do want to make that side of the wing a little more prominent. There we go. It can fly. Put some crazy hairs stuck in the honey here. There we go. Brush a little wash. Okay, touch up. This guy's pretty funny. It's the Reverend that Sugar sampled for the song. We do a lot of that. We'll drive around like on tour and sample really crazy like podcasts from the South in the middle of the Bible Belt, or fire and brimstone type shit. So always fun to use in a song. Okay, so we basically have honeycomb, teacup. That's the last section, and then I'll whiten up his eye to make it really glow, and then we might even capture some, or not capture, but apply some blacklight reactive paint on here. Have a little fun that way. Okay, excuse me, grab a drink of water. All right, well, kind of zoomed in, so let's zoom back out. Let's do there. So right now we have our hatter with his beautiful green jacket, covered in striped by honey. His purplish blue shirt, his very bright tie. There we go. Very flamboyant individual, so we would expect his fashion to mirror that. Got his face all done up, line work. Got his eye. We'll finish that up, you know, and then a little glint in this eye. Got a nice big pool of honey coming down from the edge of the honeycomb back here. His hat kind of cocks forward, and then you have the honeycomb here, here, and here that we'll start detailing at. I think I want to jump in and get this cup painted up, so we'll. I'm going to start by using almost the same tone as I did on his skin. It's kind of like an off-white to kind of mimic like ceramic, like a ceramic color. Oh yeah, here's a good sample. So, you know, it might not show up as a very vibrant contrast to the background right now, but this is just to get a base coat in of something that resembles a little more creamier, a little more ceramic, as opposed to just the green hue in the background. So I haven't go. How am I gonna quite shade this yet? Maybe we'll put a little and yes, let's make sound effects while we can. I have not changed since I was 5 years old. Maybe make the Cheshire's teeth like super bright white and blowy. Shade it with some electric blue maybe. And don't worry about going over the ink like I've talked about in the previous episodes. This is Holbein. It's a really beautiful Japanese ink. When I set up my gear list, I'll be able to link you guys to the where I get it from. But it's completely waterproof. So the ink I just did on the honeybee, I could actually take water right now and it wouldn't smear it. So it's very cool, very, very cool. Dashboard here. There we go. All right. And the cool thing about this music, these last few tracks that were created for my time lapses, is if you actually watch them, certain aspects of the music will sync up to like my arm movement or like a pattern that I'm doing. So if it was like the line work here, it'd be like a whoosh, 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 or something of that nature. So very cool how the Riken Funk put this music together for me. So we have a cream color. Maybe we'll go ahead with, I think I'm gonna do pinkish, brownish, yellow. I don't know. Let's check this out and see what's what. Maybe shadow this a little bit. But I think I want to give it almost like a pinkish hue to the cup. So we'll kind of go in like that, and then let's just start adding some darker hues as it gets towards the hat. Let's dip directly into our pink in this cream color. Kind of start adding some two-tone. All right. So dropping in some pink tones on this cup, make it a little dainty. A little bit of a contrast, and then we'll also to bring in some of the reds. Kind of bouncing, the colors bouncing off the teacup a little bit. And I like how it kind of gives like almost like a warm undertone since you get the Cheshire kind of smiling through. And it kind of ties together the pink in his tie as well. For those just tuning in, feel free to check out my Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff, SeanDietrichArt.com. You can see some of my finished paintings as well. Some of my original content, original creations, characters, books, toys, hand cast resin figures. I'll be painting those up over the next couple weeks as well. And then we just primed up a bunch of 2-liter bourbon barrels that are going to be custom painted and sold. Maybe we'll raffle one or two off on here or at the show at Urban and Beyond in Louisville in September. There we go. Kind of dry brush it some in here. And I think with this cup we might do a little texturizing. So let's take a little water, or maybe a lot. And don't worry if it gets in the background, because that just adds to the action. We'll go ahead and do that anyway. And since I put the paint down, it's had a minute to dry, I'll be able to go in with the rag here and just blot it. And it pulls out that color. See if I can zoom in a little bit and show you the... So it kind of strips out the color. Same technique as over here on the hat. Definitely gives it more of an antiquated look. Another layer of texture, which I am all about. Whoop, that would not be zoom out. There we go. All right. Let's see here. So we're going to take a little more of the brown. A little darker. Blend it with my finger. Whatever gets the job done. There we go. And And then we can do a little bit of the darker, throw some brown in the pink. Turn this sideways so I can get the right angle. And start blending some of where the teacup curves underneath to meet the saucer. Let's see here. Now, so for the tea, I'm going to go with a really just light wash. A little more yellow. I don't want it to look too much like the honey, but definitely kind of give it that brownish color of the tea. And that could stand to use a little more brown. But that's why we layer in acrylic. And all this is acrylic, color-wise, and then the black is all India ink. So I don't use black paint. I only use India ink. I like how it gets into the tooth of the canvas. Let's see here. Didn't need that black. So we'll get a little darker on the teacup. Take a touch of that black into this brown. Just a dry brush worth of, then take my thumb and a little spit. Do some blending, a little bit darker down there. There we go, kind of scrub that out. Cool. Same around here. And we'll go in with all the line work afterwards and really make that pop. There we go. I think maybe we'll hit that with some of this yellow. Just right on the edge there. A little bit of highlight. A little homage to the honey. And of course, do a little And I think at this point, let's go over to the lunchbox of fun. PBR lunchbox. Amazing way to carry my paints. Right on top. Bust into some white. And start dropping in the Cheshire's teeth. And I think we're gonna highlight his teeth or shade it, whichever. I don't always use the correct terminology, but get what I mean. All right, so let's go into some white here. Really start shaping out, making these teeth glow. And as I said earlier, I've been experimenting a lot with blacklight reactive paints, and I might put some over his teeth. I did one Alice painting where if you hit it with a black light, you can actually see the Cheshire smile appear in the corner. And then we did my buddy Kai Martin and I did a live painting at Louder Than Life last year, which is a really cool rock festival in Kentucky, another Danny Wimmer show. And it was an 8-foot by 4-foot piece of plywood, and the theme was the Jabberwocky tattooing Alice. And the tattoo gun was actually hooked up to his veins, so his veins were all blacklight reactive paint. I think they were orange, and you could only see the tattoo, which was the white rabbit, on her arm, and as he tattooed her, she kind of was shriveling up into this weird-looking creature where she... her face was just a skull, basically. Her hair was blown back, and then she almost looked like Groot. She just had tree limbs for arms. And but yeah, once you hit it with the black light, check out my Instagram. Scroll down a little ways, you'll be able to see the final product on that final piece. But that was a fun piece. That was completely free-handed. We only had a basic outline of what we were going to do, and we just kind of went for it. So sometimes I like doing art where I don't have to think or plan ahead. I just step up to the canvas, and whatever happens, happens. Keeps the mind sharp. A little highlight on the edge of that teacup right now. Cut that in. There we go. So we got some white teeth. Yeah, they're starting to show up too. Moon Witch dancing, how's it going? Going well. Painting, getting work done. Thanks for joining me. This is day 3 of me streaming on Twitch. Kind of been hanging out, lurking, watching some other artists and whatnot, making some connections, and then finally decided it was time to take the plunge. So, doing very well. Hope your night is just as cool. Yeah. Woot, new streamer. That's right. Not new to the world of art, but new streamer. Yeah, I tour and I do a lot of the big rock festivals and whatnot, and so I'm, as opposed to traditional social media, Facebook, all that good stuff. I don't like selling my artwork online or strictly doing that. I really like getting out there and doing. I've been live painting since 1999 at different nightclubs and festivals. I started out behind a band, industrial band, and then kind of went from there. And I was actually watching Alex Pardis on Instagram and saw that he had a Twitch channel, and was kind of like, whoa, I didn't know there was this format where you could do creative streaming and, for hours on end, actually get work done and socialize, and like true social media. So I had to get in on it. So just working on this new Hatter piece. This will become part of a product launch I have coming out. I have a whole line of like smoke shop accessories and whatnot. Thanks for the follow. Cool. Yeah, and I should be on Monday through Friday. I know it says 8 p.m. on the schedule. It's supposed to be 9, but I might just keep it that way and hop on a little bit earlier, depending on what life throws at me. And then weekends will be just kind of whenever I have some time, I'll hop on. So right now, just was adding the Cheshire to the teacup, and then I'll start dropping some highlights in. Might as well do as I. Get that nice and bright. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, he's done a few Hatter pieces, and he's just a fun character to may I show you my? Yeah. Anybody watching, please link. If you got a link to your art, I would love to see it, whatever it is. I definitely have no problem with people linking stuff in the stream, and as long as their art and. Weird hair here. There we go. Let's see. Do I need a permit? No, you don't need a permit. Yeah, if you got Instagram or a website or whatnot, or you can connect with me. My Instagram and Facebook are on the feed on my profile page. So feel free to add, and let me take a look. All right, we're gonna have to go in with some ink. Okay, so let's bust out the ink. Eyebrow and bots growl at me. Yeah. I had to make one bot adjustment the first night I streamed. I had a cool conversation going on with somebody, and I think it was set to like 140 characters, like a tweet. So we, I think twice he got silenced for like 30 seconds, or so. I fixed that. But yeah, let me see here. Oh, cool. Those are like the little, they're beads, right, that you put together? Yeah, that's rad. I like it. I like the colors. Obviously, down here, kind of the same, like blues and whatnot. I've always liked that color combination. I did this big U-boat painting back in the day, and I used it, Delicas, they're the cousin to the seed bead family. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I used to know somebody who worked with those. I've done so many festivals and whatnot. I've seen so many just cool creative things. But yeah, I remember someone who was working with those as well. That's something that takes patience, I assume. Alright. Get in there and clean up these eyes a little bit. Sharpen up that sometimes the brush runs away, and that's why this ink is so rad. Well, thanks for the follow. Drawing flies? Everybody's got to draw something. Appreciate it. Twitch, I finished that too much. It's crazy. Yeah, it's moving flying. Slider rails, what's up? Yeah, I'm interested to see how the creative channels grow. I mean, it's I'm kind of glad I'm getting on it. I know it's not new, but it's not as big as the gaming side of things. So yeah, I really see like a lot of opportunity to take this, like actually hanging with the artist and learning techniques, or I'll hop on a stream and get some inspiration. So yeah, we'll try and change that. But we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. I mean, you can see behind me, I'm actually this is a brand new 1,300 square foot studio I just built. So we're going to have everything from these. I got two 32-foot walls that are going to be muraled. And then my buddy who produces all the music that you're hearing right now, he's going to be like, we'll have like Friday night party nights at he'll DJ and I'll just be painting on the wall back there, and we'll just stream that for like 4 or 5 hours. So we'll try and do some, kind of a variety of things, but creative switch to IRL. Yeah, it depends. What I know they switch on and off. Like some of them will be painting, and then all of a sudden I'll jump on their stream and they're like eating potato chips on the back porch or something, and I'm like, okay, I expected some art, but I guess you gotta eat. How long you guys been on Twitch? And hopefully I'll be hosting artists too. I'll have some artists come through town, and we'll do some live collaborations, and maybe have some musicians come in and whatever. I mean, I'm pretty open. I've got the space now, and I got a pretty healthy Rolodex. If anybody knows what that is. A couple years. Cool. Yeah, I've been on maybe I think since March. Just lurking, hanging out, seeing what it's all about, kind of researching my equipment and whatnot, and how I'm gonna put this together, and yeah. I'm just here to drink wine and fuck shit up. There you go. Yeah, I think half the time I've been on was it Crazy Like Swayze? I don't know if you know that dude, but playing party games and drinking bourbon, or he drinks bourbon. I got my PBR. And let me know if my audio is coming through okay. I had issues earlier on with the music and the audio. If I'm too low or the music's too loud, let me know. So we'll go through and finish up this teacup. And I think next week I'm going to start on, I have a big 6-foot by 4-foot painting I'm going to be working on. It's a tribute to my buddy's grandfather. He commissioned me, who was part of the 115th during World War II. So this guy stormed Normandy and basically saw it all from the time we invaded. So I've got this kind of like surrealist look at his time, from like Normandy to the Battle of St. Lo, but like all the I've animalized uh, all the vehicles. So the landing craft are like beached whales. The Sherman tanks are like these centipedes that are armor plated with just the turret coming out of in the middle of their head, and then they're all like climbing up this hill to the cathedral at St. Lo. So, oh, cool, cool, cool. Glad the music's coming through and all. Yeah, I mean it'll definitely be a lot of kind of repetitive dancey shit, but but it's all original. My buddy produces all of it, so. And then we have stuff, it's four different projects that he's a part of, and then one group that we have together that's going to end up being. So it'll be him on stage producing the music, and then I'll be live painting. So we're actually going to take this to the next level as far as I've done plenty of painting where I just stand at a festival and people come up while I'm working, but to actually do a full-on performance with video and live art and music is what we're working towards next. So all my time lapses that I have uploaded are all that music is part of the Reich and Funk. But this guy, Sugar, Matt Sugar, this guy's part of like 85 different projects. So plenty of tunes. Alright. So we'll get this T on the outline here. Once I've done this, I'll start doing the honeycombs, which are super annoying, so I saved them for last. There we go. Cool. All right. You guys game at all, or just drink wine and fuck shit up? Yeah, yeah. I was just in DC while I was on tour in May. So I grew up outside of Baltimore, and so it's funny. I mean, DC was pretty much my playground. I mean, I used to go to all the clubs there when I was a teenager and high school years, and but I always took it for granted the museums were there. It's kind of like anything. You live by the beach, barely go swimming. But yeah, I actually went to the Freer Museum. It's right next to the Smithsonian Castle, and it's one of these. Well, it's not really a tiny museum, but not one that's like very well known. But it's a lot of like ancient Buddhist art, and I mean they had one section that was just this shrine, and everything was all this gold plated, handcrafted. They had like demonic possession helmets and crowns they used. It's pretty actually amazing. Yeah, Freer, Freer. So cool, cool, cool. Glad to have artists hanging on or hanging out, hanging on. Better than the guy from Albania last night that just wanted me to send free art to him. I was like, oh, my first troll. Cool. Ban. Yeah, no free art. He was like, just send me a free one, dude. Like one that you don't care about or didn't take, much time to do. And I'm like, okay, well you got all that shit wrong. I'm like, it takes a while. I do care about it, and they're expensive as fuck. So like, I'll do some giveaways and stuff for prints and other cool stuff eventually. But yeah, no sending free art out to random people yet. Let's see. I mean, I've done some trade before. If you got some art that's super cool, and I've definitely traded. I think I've bartered for everything, especially when starting out. And at the festivals, that's like the first thing we do. We hit up the food vendors. Hey, I'm the artist. What are you cooking, and how much of it can I get for free? Trade for earrings? Yeah. I don't know. My wife might. She's definitely traded my artwork for some fashion accessories, clothing. And you never know. Sometimes I need a cool gift. There's a jeweler named Martha Rotten that I buy a lot of stuff from on tour. It's all hand cast like silver pieces, but they'll take like a herring skull and then cast it and then make some, a cool ass necklace out of it or something along those lines. I'm probably not describing the process right, but it looks dope. Alright, let's get these teeth outlined. Drop a little blue on them. There we go. Teeth are starting to pop. There we go. Oh, thanks for the host. Cool, cool. My first host. Hope I don't embarrass you. Who the fuck is this guy? I gotta come up with all my cool little gifts. Like, so and so's hosting you, and there's a bunch of weird shit going on. I just get the dull gray notification. All right. Do these little fine lines, almost like the ceramics kind of cracking around where his teeth come in. You can kind of see show you the caterpillar here. You can kind of see him poking out. This is one of the first like dab mats we did for this first run. Move him over. So he's just chilling with his rig. Put my fancy palette back. And a little bit of line work down here. say, I know that wasn't the end of the music. It's like a 4-hour mix. Alright. There we go. Zoom in a little bit. Let's see. A little more detail on that teacup right there, a little line work. Oops. There we go. Six viewers. It's a party. Alright, so let's work on some texture down here. Real thin lines. Alright, I'm going to go add a little bit of shading on his teeth. Switch it. There we go. It's Canon R800, the Vixia. I think it's a pretty popular camera for this area, yeah. And then this is just the Mac webcam. What do I have to show off? Yeah, I got some. I can show some of the products. Most of my stuff's still packed up in the trailer from tour, but I just got these like tapestries and bandanas and stuff in for festivals. So this was like, let's see, this was like the original Hatter piece that I did. So this one he's drinking absinthe. Let me show that. He's like eating a green fairy. And then I got this, let's see here. This was a Wizard of Oz piece. at IDW Comics. This was like a test to do like a like they wanted to do like a classics, you know, section or a re-release. And yeah, I'll show you some upcoming stuff. So that painting I was talking about my buddy's grandfather, I can show you some of the sketches. So that's like the Sherman tank. So I took him and made him into like this armor-plated kind of centipede. You got the tank on top of his head, and then the plating for his for the back of the tank. And then at the top on, let's see, the side that is good, I'm working on the Valkyries coming in, and they're getting shelled by this girl on a tank. So you got the top of the Leopard tank, and she's wrapped in the German flag with the Reaper blade. So you have like the German side, you have the American and British side. So this will kind of be like one piece, you know, either side of the painting. I am doing another fun little commission for a buddy of mine. This is the initial sketch for the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So if you know much about that movie, this is like a combination of all the scenes into one thing. And then basically the main painting is going to be in here, and then these two sections are actually wooden doors that are going to be folded in on the canvas. So it'll look like one of those old triptychs. I'm trying to think what other sketches. I actually have my old sketchbook out here somewhere. This is that's the new one. No, that's the old one. Does this have any of the older? Yeah, it's all just. But yeah, that's kind of the main pieces I'm working on, the two bigger ones, and then I have this. You can kind of see that big tapestry back here. That's my girl Vera. She's like my spokeswoman. You can check her out online. So she's a redhead, 30-foot red hair, and she's got these little space aliens that chase her around everywhere. And I don't know where I'm going with her, but basically she showed up in one painting, and I like the character so much, she kind of time travels and pops up in various different paintings. So yeah, and then my website, SeanDietrichArt.com. Has all the finished artwork that I have out there right now. So Sean Dietrich, spelled Dietrich, art.com. And then, yeah, social is, oh, I haven't put the social command in, sorry. It's on my front page. It's Sean Dietrich is my Instagram, just at Sean Dietrich. And then Sean Dietrich Art is Facebook. Instagram's got a lot more, though. Facebook, I just post on that site so my 60-year-old parents can see it. But, yeah. So mainly Instagram, and then Sean Dietrich Art. And there you can see a lot of my own, like, actual creations, and not just like, you know, drawings of other people's characters and stuff like that. I don't do a lot of fan art. Like I said, the Wizard of Oz was commissioned, and then the Hatter is just for a launch that was requested by this manufacturer. So I've done way too many Comic-Cons to. I've seen my share of fan art. And right now, especially in the smoking industry, the cannabis industry, it's just like inundated with like Rick and Morty ripoff art. And so. Oh, I was highlighting his teeth. So yeah, I'll work on setting up those commands. I didn't know how many were actually already. I thought there was some that were just default. Okay. But and then if you go to I think Amazon or eBay. I started out in comic books, so you can actually pull up a lot of my old comics. Somebody's selling a copy or two. But yeah, started off in comic books, and I lived in San Diego 15 years, so I was always at the San Diego con. This year is actually my 18th year, but I'm not going. It'll be my first time in 18 years I'm not at the show. And I did that for a while. I was an indie comic artist, uh, and then I got picked up by PlayStation and worked on the Twisted Metal series, and it was kind of off and running from there. So, where am I from? I live north of Seattle, up in the San Juan Islands. Very, very small town on an island, just south of Canada. But kind of halfway in between Vancouver uh, and Seattle. But really beautiful part of the country. And been up here about 3.5 years, and then Baltimore originally. Lived in New Orleans 3 years. I mean, I've traveled about, but 15 years in Southern California is enough for me. There we go. Three and a half hours southwest of Seattle. Okay, very cool. So it's a very beautiful part of the country. Or I don't want to assume unless you live in like the most dismal part of Washington. But I think that's Eastern Washington. All right, so let's put a little white on these wings up here. It's beautiful, nice. Yeah, I was impressed my first visit. I did the Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle for years, but until I met my wife, who grew up here, I had no clue what was north of Seattle, and just to be up in an area that I've got access to everything 20 minutes away if I need to go big box store shopping or whatever, but there's only 16,000 people and just surrounded by trees. Super cool. Yeah, exactly. Seattle's not the pretty part. Seattle's cool, but they're also overdeveloping it, and it's, no, you haven't seen Epic until you get up to like Bellingham and, the areas where you actually think that Sasquatch would walk out of the forest. And but yeah, and I haven't even touched. I mean, I'm up by the San Juan Island, so I haven't even explored too much or had the time to even go out to a lot of the islands. So that is on the agenda. Every time I think I have a minute to do something, nope, work steps in. No, I haven't been to Ocean Shores. What part of Washington is that? Like other side of the Sound, or? Yeah, a little white in there. A little more water on that white. A little more flowy. Oh, there we go. I think I can zoom in a little more on this bee. Show you what I'm doing here. Just dropping in some, sitting there pointing at the screen, dropping in some highlights here on the bee. Yeah, I know where Olympia is. Yeah. Yeah, I've got friends like in Bremerton, Port Angeles. The guy who does all my T-shirts is out of Bremerton. Oh, cool. So that's right on the coast, I assume, ocean shores. I mean, sounds like it. But again, not to assume. Let's do a little kiss of white right under his eyes. There we go. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'd love to. We may have driven. Well, I know, like our first road trip up here, when we were driving back to San Diego, we took the Oregon coast all the way down. I don't know where we cut over, but I don't remember. But man, it is just the shore is absolutely stunning, like the whole way down. I mean, everybody thinks Big Sur and California is beautiful, which it is, but there's just so many hidden gems in Oregon and the Washington coast. Let's wait for. Stop this from wiggling so the camera can focus. All right. Starting to come along. Some water. Do I go to casinos? Just the one in town. We do have like the I don't even know what the hell it's called. The Twin Bridges or Twin something casino. It's by the Twin Bridges. I go to Vegas frequently. I mean, just because I do a lot of trade shows with OCB rolling papers. I do all their rolling tray work and poster work, so I live paint at their booth. But Quinault Beach Resort and Casino is where you want to go. It's right on the beach. Oh, cool. Yeah, I got a lot of Washington to explore, and I feel bad I haven't done as much as I probably should for as long as I've lived up here. Oh wait, I zoomed in on the B, and now I'm working on the other side of the painting. There we go. All right. So I'll just put a little highlight in here. Really such a white. Show that there's something in the dark there. And we'll throw in some highlight on this crooked ass nose. There we go. It's nice to meet all you guys online, and thanks for hanging out. Make it so I'm not talking to myself. There we go. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'll be on, like I said, most weeknights, and then weekend, you know, on and off, depending. Yeah, I kind of like, you know, when I was like, all right, maybe I'll just kind of do it up like Bob Ross, just, hey, you know, we're going to take a little bit of this paint. And and just kind of start off like that. But yeah, it's a talent. Where I'm schizophrenic. No. There we go. All right. Let's give you some highlights. Cut one in on this chin here. There we go. Love putting the highlights in. It just pops. This one here. Fade it up. I hit the side of his tie, kind of fade it in. Leave it a little bit dark where it's under his chin. Am I off camera? Yeah, I knew I was off camera. Slide that up. Highlighting the edge of his tie. Boom. Kind of enhance that edge. Brings a little light to where it fades out. Okay. Kiss the edge of the honey there. Okay. So we get a little bit of a highlight going down the side of his jacket too. And if need be, we'll go back over that edge with some black. Hope you get some paint on the brush. All right. Shall we tackle the honeycomb? I think so. Save the shit work for last. But once it's done and I'm like, oh, just a few little more touch-ups, I got a new painting complete. Makes it all worthwhile. I love how them highlights show up. Yeah, looks good. All right, that works. It works. I'll probably sit here and noodle this thing to death with highlighting, but I do have to see. All right, maybe just a couple more. Go. Sometimes you gotta look at it, just hold it back. All right, so the honeycomb, basically just a matter of adding some depth to it, kind of giving it, defining each one. Let's see here. I need to flip it upside down. You get a fresh china plate. Or Walmart's best. And we're gonna go with some deep yellow. Some brown. And we can mix in a little bit of that shit. Okay. So basically gonna go in with a let's get kind of a golden brown going on here. I'm digging the tracks tonight. I didn't actually listen to all this music before I put it on, so. I will tell him in the morning. Okay. Oh yeah. And some yummy honey color. that dark brown and give it some depth. A little spit on my canvas. You know what? I will be back 1 minute. I'm gonna turn this heater off. All right. So just kind of roughing in some dark in the middle of each one of these honeycombs. And then as I add the other colors, I'll give it more depth, and then I'll go in and do the final line work with the India ink. It's all about, for me, kind of what looks cool. I'm, more into like this, just making sure it has that stylistic flair, and whether it looks super realistic or. I think people get the point. It's honey. Uh-oh, bumping it up. Yeah. A little too much paint in there. Dab it out. Today, Tuesday? It is now. All right. And this is actually like, that's one layer, that's one layer, that's one layer. So it's like different kind of chunks of honey that are honeycomb that are stuck to his hat. So I'll kind of go in now and do a little bit of shading with the brown. Sorry, just kind of define those different combs or sections, clumps. That's just a little more dark under and into the middle, and then leaving it a little bit lighter out here in these tones to kind of give it that appearance. We'll see what works. Yummy. Love that honey. So then I'll go in like kind of put a darker, once I shade it out, I'll actually just do like a dark brown line. Like a drop shadow in Photoshop. Ugh. A lot of dry brushing gives it that texture and just allows me to kind of manipulate the color with a little bit more control. Mainly the texture. Thanks for hanging in there, whoever's watching. I appreciate it. Hope I'm entertaining you in some capacity. Some water. I'll spit in the finger. There you go. Yeah, I knew this part would be slow. The music's very rhythmic. Oh yeah, starting to pop. Alright, I might just finish this one up and call it a night in a few minutes here. Almost 2 a.m. here. I know some of you guys stream till like the break of dawn, but that ain't me. The break of dawn. But these tracks are getting more drony and drony. Let me just leave. They are chill to paint too, though. There we go. Alright. Cool. Kind of slide it up to the bottom there too. And like, you know, it's gonna be put a little blue in here. Maybe not. Wait, okay. picking up. They heard me. Alright, same deal here. We got a couple of different layers of honeycombs, so we'll a lot more dark where it overlaps. There we go. Get that really dark drop shadow going on. Hell, let's power through. I want to see this thing finished. Oops. Too much paint on that one, so. Sometimes it happens. Ooh. Congo drummy. I feel like some 80s computer software is working really hard to do something for me. A little more water. Water. Cool. We can't forget these. Oh, I got one more right there. And we'll jump down to the bottom. And everywhere I look, I always kind of, I'm going to move down here. This could use a little work, always spotting something. So even areas I think I'm done, sometimes turns out I'm not. And that's cool. I know a lot of times there's been certain sections of paintings too where I'm like, I really don't know where I want to go with that or color-wise, and I'll have to drop in almost the entire painting before I figure out like what color it's actually going to be. So as much as I like to think I have the entire idea figured out before I start painting, sometimes it doesn't work that way. little growly in the corner. There's a little dog over there. And she just snorts. Lays there and snores. Alright, so this honeycomb's on its side, so we're actually putting in a little more depth on the actual comb itself, showing how deep it goes in. Woohoo! Start doing some touch-ups with black ink, but yeah, I dig it. So let's grab our liner brush. Our liner brush. You own it with me now. And we'll go with our Holbein ink. Holbein, amazing Japanese ink. And first, before I forget, I want to go back over to this honeybee here. And like I said, it's all about layering for me. So where I put the yellow and went in the brown and went into the black and then put some more yellow on top. And then where I did the white highlights, I will actually kind of go back in and put even more little hairs over top of where the white highlights are, just to blend that in. Let me zoom in on him. Are you close enough? There you go. Kind of see just barely kissing the canvas there. But every line adds a little bit of depth, a little bit of action. Definitely makes him look like a fluffy motherfucker. Yeah, there we go. Then I'll hit the edge of that wing again just to tighten that up. So, yeah, I like looking in that. Actually, I could paint through the zoom lens when my eyes go to shit when I'm older. This is pretty awesome. And yeah, just a few more down in here, which is barely touching the canvas and just letting the ink flow. There we go. The edge of that highlight, a little bit under his eye. There we go. And then we'll touch up the wing as well. Long strokes like that. Just kind of hold your breath. Okay. Let's do some work on the honeycomb. Pan back here. We'll basically just go in and a couple of these sides. Get the hatching in there. There we go. I want a fucking waffle now. Yeah. top line a little bit more. Not sure why. I think I just kind of was flushing it out to make sure I wanted it there in the beginning. Didn't really ink it the whole way, so now that we're cool with it, there we go. Now, one other cool thing, if I can set this up, which shouldn't be too hard, I do have a 25-foot motorhome that I tour in across the U.S., and it's all muraled up. Right now it looks like the Wizard of Oz, so I am going to be remuraling that this summer to go on tour, so I think I may stream that. So aside from doing the murals on the back walls here and paintings on canvas, bourbon barrels, characters, we'll definitely bring in some really unique just mediums to paint on, and yeah, getting that motorhome reworked is going to be really cool. I have a lot of work to do. And again, supposed to be working on the honeycomb, but I think a couple more lines on this T might look rad. There we go. Alright, pretty happy with how this is coming out. If you dig it, please follow me on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, SeanDietrichArt.com. I got lots of cool stuff to share. And if you're an artist, I'd love to see your work. There we go. I don't want to do too much to the honeycomb. I really want to just accentuate the sidelines here. Definitely where it meets the hat. It's a little bit thicker, and then we'll hatch in these the cross section where it shows the thickness of the honeycomb. There we go. We can do some hatching here to show that it's underneath this one, and here underneath this one. There we go. Shake out the canvas. fine, that geometric shape we all know and love, the honeycomb. Cool. Alright. Alright, we're getting there. Tie it all in with a little bit of black. I didn't want to go all the way around. I kind of wanted just do a little bit on the side there to give it a little finished look. And I basically use like the tip of the brush and then push down, and this is why I like using a brush as opposed to, can't do this shit with digital, and a pen doesn't really give you that kind of fluidity, but just to be able to change line shape and all that. One of the main reasons I stick with a brush. And we've been friends for a long time, so can't ditch out on a good friend. There we go. Alright. A little bit of that hatching going on. Go. Go. Oh, stretch. Oh, I think this is a little piece of honeycomb that was supposed to be back behind it. Some more ink in there. All right. I think we got a good thing going. A few more stitches. Alright, so I think we got the bulk of this painting finished. I'm gonna sleep on it, and I'll come back in tomorrow and detail it, or drop in any more details that I feel necessary, and then sign this baby and move on to something else. But I think for now I'm pretty cool with how it came out. So yeah, tomorrow I will be probably around 9 o'clock. I'm gonna go in and fix my schedule thing right now. I don't know why I keep saying 8 o'clock. I might just have the time zone wrong, but yeah, I'll be on tomorrow for another round of painting, and we'll start something new. Get something new going, and then yeah, let me know what you guys think or any suggestions on what to paint. And please share your art if you do hop on tomorrow as well. But other than that, I'm a tired puppy. So I will talk to everyone tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate all the follows and all the people that were joining in the conversation. And nice to meet you guys, and hope to see you around online. All right, cheers.